Today we're going to take a look at what Python is and how to set up a simple Python development environment on an old MacBook and also on an old Windows PC. So Python is basically a popular general purpose programming language. It is used in places such as machine learning, web development, desktop application, as well as banking and finance, and cryptocurrency and trading. Fortunately for beginners, Python has a simple, easy-to-use syntax that makes learning Python an absolute joy. So it's a simple to learn and simple to understand programming language that mainly uses indentation for the syntax. So if you're just starting out in Python programming, I highly recommend that you remain consistent so that you can quickly learn and take up the programming language. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Python and the Pycharm IDE. And I'm actually going to be demonstrating on an old MacBook. So if I click on about this Mac, you can see that this is actually a late 2008 MacBook, and it only has about 4 gigs of RAM. So I'm just going to be demonstrating to you how you can use a cheap old MacBook to actually create pretty good applications. So open up your web browser and search for Python, and then click on downloads and click on the macOS or Windows download link. So I recommend that you download the latest version of Python. So in my case, I'm just going to download the Python 3.10.7 version. But I've actually downloaded Python earlier, so I'm just going to go to the folder where I've actually downloaded Python to. And then I'm just going to open up the installation package. So on the welcome screen, just click on continue. Click on continue again, and then click on continue to actually then accept the license agreement. Click on install and then type in your password on the authentication prompt actually. So Python is actually now installing, as you can see, and once the installation process is complete, I'm then going to then show you how you can actually install Pycharm. So if you're using a Windows PC, you just have to double click on the installation.exe file to also install Python. So open up your browser and open up a new browser tab and then search for Pycharm. So we're going to be installing the Pycharm IDE. Click on the other versions link, and that will then grant us access to the download repository for the older Pycharm versions. So scroll down to the 2019 section and then click on the download link for the Pycharm Community Edition. So we're just going to be installing the Pycharm older version of their Community Edition offering. So open up the Pycharm installation file and then click on the Pycharm icon and drag it over to the applications folder. If you're using a Windows PC, you just need to double click on the Pycharm installation file and then go through the installation prompts. So once the installation is complete, double click on the Pycharm icon and you should now see a prompt which tells you that the application has actually been downloaded from the internet. So just click on open and then choose the do not import settings option. So click on the I've never used Pycharm option and then click on next. So you now need to choose between a dark and a light mode option. So just choose the dark option and then click on next. You can also choose the light option if you want, and then click on the start using Pycharm button. So the Pycharm IDE is now opening up. So click on the create new project option, and then I'm just going to set the name my first Python app. And then make sure the base interpreter is actually set to Python 3.7. And then click on the create button. So we've successfully created a new Python project. So once the project opens up, what I need you to do is I need you to right click on the project folder. So just right click on the project folder and then click on new and then select file. So we're going to set the file name to first.py and then click on OK. So in this project, I'm just going to type in the command print and then type in 2 quotation marks and then type in my first Python program. Click on Run, and on the Python console, you should see the text that you've actually typed in between the quotation marks. So that's just a brief look at how you can set up Python on an old MacBook or Windows PC. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this tutorial has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.